Hi folks, it's Dasher Dave here. This is a continuation of part 5 of the journal thing that we've been doing. So we've been making this journal, but we've been kind of going from making this journal. I know that some of you are tuning in for the first time, so I'll just show you. So this is basically the journal. It's like a lapbook style journal, file, flip, folio thingy, flip, flop, flippity, flip, flip, that. So this is what we've been making. I say we, I mean I, but with you to be able to craft along and etc. So this is how far we've got. So we made this bit on the first, well, the first one we made this, second one we made this, third we made this, fourth we made this. I made this as part of a separate video. We've decorated and things on separate videos, etc. We've got this, and today I've made this, and I'll be uploading that later today. It's in 2 parts because I had technical difficulties. So anyway, I might fuse them together, or they might be in 2 separate bits. So there'll be a 20 minutes and like a 40 minutes or whatever, or it might be a full hour. Who knows? So then we made all of this, and now what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do a bit of decorating of this, but I also want to show you some exciting things. So in that video, by the way, we made the sellotape that you've all been asking me how to make. So if you want to know how to do that, go and watch that video. But we're going to do some exciting things. So, just for total honesty and transparency, I will tell you now that a lot of these products were sent to me by Becca B at Becca B. That's BECKAB.co.uk. She has sent me these things. So Becca has kindly sent me some things to play with, so that I can, see what I can do with them. And I'll be transparent and honest, and if I'm using some of her products, I will say that they are her products that she sent me. She has great store, a whole plethora of things, and some very exciting things, and I've got an exciting product I want to show you in a moment. But some of the things I want to kind of do. So I have I have the things that I want to kind of decorate in there, but I also want to do a bit of a journal card. And so this is some of the paper that she sent me. I think this is just like a card blank. Now, I'm not a big card maker, so I don't tend to use card blanks. But I was thinking I really like this pattern. Okay, so what I'm proposing to do is I'm going to kind of tear it, and I'm just going to kind of reach off camera. And if you hear a crash, it's because everything's just fallen off. Oh no, I thought it was going to fall, but it didn't. So I'm going to get my tearing ruler. I'm just going to tear off this edge so that it's a bit more organic for me. Do a bit less of a tear on this side. Okay, and tear on this side. And you can just tear it if you want to tear it, but as much as I like it organic, I like it to behave as well. So I always do this, and I look at other people doing it. I think they're doing it the wrong way around, and I actually am. There you go, much better, easier to do it that way. Okay, so I've just made this a little bit more organic in its shape. Okay, I'm going to make this into a bit of a journal card. Okay, so one of the things that I would say is, we as crafters, if you've been doing the napkin stuff like I do, you'll get loads of these pieces of paper. Now, I've made loads of things with this. I find ways and means to work about this, but this is really good for if you've got a stamp. So using a piece of just plain napkin, one of the undersides from when you've pulled it off the back of one of the decorative napkins. So these undersides, these other layers. So this one is actually splitting. So one of these, and they're usually 3 ply, so you'll get 3 layers, and you get 2 plain layers and 1 decorative one. Okay, so these are great for if you've got stamps and things, and you might not have a whole plethora of funky napkins to use, then why not stamp your own and make your own kind of napkin-y images? So one of the stamps that Becca sent me was Elsie. It's an indigo blue stamp. It's quite a significant size. I think it's an A6. Yeah, it's an A6, and it's just a really nice kind of portrait stamp. But I'm not a big stamper. I don't stamp like as a proper stamp. I like to kind of find different ways to use stamps. So I'm going to take Elsie. Okay, I'm going to stamp her with, this is some archival ink. I'm just going to stamp her up. Sorry to slap your face at Elsie, but Elsie. So there you go, just stamping that up, just giving it a good image. And then I'm going to I'm going to stamp it onto here. So make sure you've got a nice flat surface and any, undulations are out of the way. And I'm just going to stamp her on this piece of napkin. Sorry, the novel has come off the back. So I'm going to give it a good firm pressing. If you've got a stamping press, then use that. What you'll find is you get a nice crisp image on this, but it will start to blur slightly, and then that's over time, and that's because all it's doing is it's drawing the ink into the fibres. So don't worry about it. You're not looking for perfection. Apologies if you can hear fireworks going off in the background. That's the local kids in the area. See, look how nice that is. But the best thing is, you've got this. Now, what if you wanted to use Elsie, but you wanted her the other way? Flip her over. She can do the other way as well. So I've stamped a couple of these. So let me just find. So I've got one this way round. I've got one that way round, and I've got some more here. So they're great for having, you could have them so they were looking away from each other, just like she's looking that way, although she's facing that way. You could have them looking away from each other, or you could have them looking towards each other. You can do some really funky things, and that's just by using the inner bit of your napkin. You can do it with text. So there's another stamp here that Becca's sent me, and this is an indigo blue again, and this one is called Calculus. Calculus, don't get me started on calculus. And again, this was all I did with this one. I actually did that in black ink, but I think I might do it on this bit in brown ink. So again, going over the whole stamp, make sure you cover it nicely. My stamp isn't very juicy. Sorry, my ink isn't very juicy anymore. I'm kind of running out of archival. I've had that archival stamp block for more years than I care to remember. Probably about 8 years now. So it's doing well, isn't it, for such a long time. So again, I'm just going over, I'm just making sure that it's making good contact. So yeah, get that all on there. Take it off. There you go. See? This has actually got some spots of other thing on it. I quite like that. So it's just a nice way to use those stamps in different ways. So we all have stamps, and I'm sorry, I know I should look after stamps. I'm really sorry if you're screaming at me now thinking, Dave, don't just put it to one side, actually do something with it. I'll clean it later. It'll be fine. It'll be right. So how am I going to use things? Okay, so I'm actually thinking, I might want her the darker version of that. So actually thinking of having her on this card like this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tear her out. Now, I'm not using my water brush this time because I want more of that feathered edge, more than you get with a water brush. Just going round her. I'm not going to worry about these lines at the bottom, just kind of roughly tearing her out. You can cut her out, but you'll get a definite line with a cut out, and I like the feathered edge. That's why I'm not using the water brush. Okay, so get that out. I thought I'd ripped her head off, but I hadn't. So I'm going to pop that on there, I think. Do I want it that way? Do I want it this way? Oh, I don't know. No, I think I'm going to have it that way. Okay, now the reason why I've used archival, you either need to use archival or a VersaFine or something that is not going to bleed, because once you've put water on it, you don't want it to bleed out. So bleeding out, oh dear, I hope they're not going to flatline. Don't bleed out on me. So this is watered down Mod Podge. Okay, so it's just watered down so it turns like single cream style. I don't know what you call is that. I don't know what you call it overseas. Do you call it heavy? You call it heavy cream if it's, we call double cream. You have, I don't know whether it's cream and then heavy cream, but we have single cream, double cream, whipping cream. So I don't know what it is in. I'm sorry, I can't translate for you. So just going over with my Mod Podge. I'm actually going over the whole thing because then you kind of keep that same texture all over. Okay, I'm going to lay Elsie down. Okay, go on, Elsie, you can have a bit of sleep now. I want a bit further over, actually. Yeah, okay, and then I'm going to lightly wet my brush with some Mod Podge and then just go over her gently. Don't go heavily, otherwise you will tear the napkin. So laying her down on this. Okay, and when you, with the feathered edge, what you'll notice is it kind of blends in very easily. You can't really see where that finishes, whereas if you have a hard edge because you've cut it, it's a bit more, a bit more contrast on where the line is. Okay, so there we go. I've gone over the whole thing. Okay, I'm just going to put that to one side. Actually, do I want a bit of that over the top? I'm winging it. I'm gonna go for something. I'm not even gonna have the whole thing. You're gonna be like, what the heck's he doing? He's doing his own thing, just like you should. You should do your own thing. So, just giving it this bit of a tear. Kind of trying to follow a bit of the text line, but not worrying too much about it. Okay, so just kind of going all the way around it. The problem is, once your fingers start getting gluey, it's really hard to then tear napkins without, well, being covered in it, basically. Don't do this before you're going anywhere posh. If you're going to the school, the parents and children's night, then it might not be the best time to do it. So again, right, okay, you need to be really careful. If you're going to go over the top with another napkin, you need to be really careful that you don't tear the napkin underneath. Okay, so I'm going to lay this down over Elsie. I know, she's all right with it. I've checked with her, she's fine. Okay, I'm going to lay this down. And this might not go right, and it might go smashingly, but you know what? You just have to give it a go. If you've got great ideas, give it a go. It's a bit of card, a bit of paper at the end of the day. And I don't spend a lot of money on card and paper and stuff. And actually, I think that's one of the things that I like about Becca B's stories. She has a whole variety of stuff, and it's really well priced. I honestly, genuinely say to you, some of the prices on there are, I don't believe that you can do it for that price. A lot cheaper the comparative to where other places where I've seen the same stuff. For instance, these distress inks and the oxides, so much cheaper on there than than most of the other places that I've seen. Well, in fact, any of the other places I've seen, to be fair. So all I've got is I've got this kind of edge on here. If you pull it down while it's still wet, it will kind of cut itself off following the line of the paper, so don't worry too much about that. And again, down this edge here, and any of the little fluffy bits, pull them off. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just dry that over, because it will get a bit more transparent as we dry it. If you don't have a heat gun, don't worry. I would absolutely say that a hairdryer is not the same. It doesn't heat up to the same, and it blows too hard. It's too intense. So I've tried using a hairdryer, and like I was thinking, oh, I don't need to buy one of those air heat guns, but I would suggest it's one of the things that you might actually use more. It's great for drying all sorts of inks and things. Speeds up your crafting as well. I would also say that don't use one of those hot guns that you get for DIY that are for stripping paint off, because they get super hot and they will, well, your paper will combust, to be fair. So yeah, so just be careful on things like that. So there you go, dried her a bit. Mod Podge is very wet, and that's why it leaves like such a sweaty back. So I'm just going to dry the back as well. Okay, so just make sure she's completely dry. Okay, so yeah, see, look how wet that gets. I don't know whether you can see that, but it does get very wet. In fact, I might put a bit of tea towel down and give her a dry on there. So yeah, so this is a great way to use all of those stamps that maybe, I don't know whether you're like me, you might be like me. I've bought loads of stamps in the past and thought, oh, I'm going to do this and this and this and this, and never do anything with them. But now I'm a journal maker, I do use a lot more stamps now. So once we've done this, okay, again, this is, for me, this is a personal thing. This is looking too new for me. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of dirty down the edges, and any bits that are too big that I don't like, just give them a tear off. That's fine. You've kind of given it a rough look anyway, so it doesn't matter if you tear a bit off and it tears. Oh, look, you see, there you go, just tore that. Okay, well, you know what we can do for that, don't we? Don't you? What we're going to do is we're going to tear it a bit more, exaggerate that tear. These accidents happen so that we can, find new ways to do things. Sorry, there's a bit of fluff on there. So what is it? Necessity is the mother of invention. Absolutely. So if you've torn anything, just make sure that you kind of dull it down, because like you'll see a very white edge otherwise. So I'm going to just go over this. I might actually need to like top up a bit of its tan. There we go. So going through the edges. Anything light over exposed bits, it just dulls it down a bit, makes it look a bit more aged. It was too bright for me. Going over that a little bit. Don't want to completely obliterate it. Taking that edge down as well, so you're getting rid of any white bits on the edge. Yeah, going over any of the white of the napkin. Stop it from spoiling the look. Okay, so like you can, it's partly done. It's not finished. So there's that. Okay, so once we've done that, we've said we're going to emphasize this, aren't we? So the way to emphasize it is if it's ripped like that, yeah, so it's ripped this way, so you get all of the layers of the paper you can be seen on the underside one, then swap the edges round and then sellotape it down like that, and that emphasizes your rippy bit. So this is some of the sellotape that I made on my previous video. Okay, I'm just going to peel a bit off. like, I don't worry about how much of this I use these days because it's so easy to make, and I can just like, I can whip up another batch whenever I feel like. Okay, I'm going to give it a rip. I like it when it gives me a bit of an edge that's not perfect. Might use, no, not long enough. Oh, I've actually made it not long enough. How silly of me. I might use the lighter one, you know, to be fair. Oh, that ripped nicely. I like the way it didn't rip properly on that bit. Give it a bit of a rip. And then stick that over there. Okay, so we're just emphasising that rip. So remember, we're making it look aged. That's what the whole point of this is, to make it look aged. These stamps are fab. I absolutely love these. I really like that calculus. Well, you know, who knew that Dave would say he really likes calculus? That wouldn't have happened at school, to tell you now. So I'm going to pop that back in there. Still not clean. Not promising you. Sorry, really not going to promise you that I'm going to clean it. Stamps, you know something, I've never ruined a stamp. I've never cleaned one. Well, say never. I've rarely cleaned one. And they're still all perfectly fine. Okay, so finding bits now. Okay, so we've put that bit on there. Okay, so what else can we put on here? Now, the other things that I made in the previous video is I made these where it's like a cabochon of highlighting a word or something, so like this. And this, the only difference between this one and this one is aged, and it's aged in the same way. In that same video I'll tell you how to show you how to age them. I'm just going to move my Mod Podge out of the way because that could go horribly wrong. So it's all looking a bit, for me, it's looking a bit samey colour now. Okay, so what I might do is I might have a bit of washi tape, like that one. A bit of washi tape down the edge. Yep, that'll do. Turn that off. Make it, you know, I don't like a straight edge on washi tape, so I might give it a bit of a tear. It's your washi tape, you can do what you like with it. So just tearing that bit off. So yeah, my week this week, so last week, really apologies for last week's video if it kind of upset you or you felt a bit like perturbed by it. My mental health wasn't great last week, but it's kind of back to kind of reset. I have real terrible dips in my mental health. However, they don't last very long, so that's the blessing that you get. So I'm going to stick this on here. I'm going to have it like that, I think. No, maybe not there. Maybe, oh, I don't know. I'll stick it there, Dave. So yeah, I had a bit of a blip last week, so that's what the situation was. So apologies if, like I say, you're a bit upset by it, but like I say, it doesn't last very long. It's just one of those things. Okay, so again, I want another little bit of something here. Now I think I might want to pick up on having some text on it. This is just a piece of green book page actually, so I really like it when you get some funky colours in book pages. So I'm going to have that on there, just ink that edge because it looks too white. Well, I know it's green paper, but it's actually only green on the surface. It's not green all the way through to its core. So where do I want that? Do I want it covering Elsie? I might have that there. Should I have that there with that there? Maybe. I might have a bit of fabric underneath that. So let's have a look at what my fabric scraps are. That's not a fabric scrap, it's a piece of rubbish. I'll get my fabric scraps out and see if there's anything else in here. So it's got predominantly yellow on it, but it's got a bit of blue. So I might have a piece of that actually. So just going to tear it. So, luckily, my friend Brian, he makes face masks and he makes all sorts of other fabric things, bow ties and you name it, he makes it. And he gives me all of his little fabric scraps, which is great. It means I don't have to go out and buy fabric, because there's no point me buying a bolt of fabric if I'm only going to use like a tiny bit. And that's why every time I pick something up, you'll see a bit of fabric stuck to it, or a bit of this stuff. What's this called? Thread, maybe. So I'm trying to make it look a little bit more aged. So it'll have been thinged. Okay, so yeah, maybe that. Okay, but again, white fabric, not going to happen. Not over the course of time. So just going to dull that back, make it look a bit more dirty. This might be a bit too much for you. You might be thinking, oh, it's a bit. Okay, so all I've done is I've put some of this on. Now that's made it really too dark. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to get, this is some washing up liquid in here. I'm just going to give it a squeege and a squidge and mop that bit up. Okay, try and dry out as much of it as I can. I can't find it in the tea towel now. Okay. So if you don't want it this dark, don't don't do it this way. But I like a bit of, and I also like it when you've made it wet, because it makes it a bit more creased. So that looks a lot more aged, that fabric. Give it a bit of a dry. I tend to find that you need to dry your fabrics out because they don't stick otherwise. They're that false stick. They stick down until like you flip them over, and then until you pick it up and then it just falls off. So learn from my mistakes. And there you go. Don't do this if you've got polyester fabric, because it'll melt. So, and you don't want a house fire either. So okay, so we've done that. We're picking up a little tonal colour of green on there. We've got some of the colours in the background. We're going to have it like that, and we are going to have that. And I think we're going to use that one, or should we have courtship and have it in a much lighter colour? Okay, what I might do is just darken it a tad on the back. What should I use? Just trying to find the right kind of colour to use on the back. Just to bear with me while I pull something out. Let's get one of these. These are some old Letraset stuff that I've got. So move that out of the way for a minute. Okay. So it's like a green, like a pasty green, really, that. And a bit of napkin, just to kind of like dab it round. There you go, give that a bit of a dry. Flip it over, give that a dry. Oh, spinning! Spin it! Oh, it smells nice. It smells of alcohol, Dave, that's why. Not a big drinker of alcohol, but I do like the way it smells. I love the hand sanitizer that everybody's using these days. So okay, so I'm going to put that on there. I'm going to scrunch that bit of fabric up, and I'm going to use my, well, it's 3-in-1, or is it Fabri-Tac or Fabrifix? Basically it does the same job. So I'm going to glue that bit down. Yeah, I'm going to have that there. You can still see Elsie in the background, don't worry. I'm going to put that there. I'm going to just to put a bit of random gluing on it, because then that will help you fix it in the way that you want it to fix. I think I want that bit showing that ruffled edge. I'll stick that there. I'm going to kind of ruffle it up a little bit. Yeah, and then I'm going to stick that on there. It says courtship, and it's because it's got Elsie in the background. She might be courting, you never know. Okay, so put this on the back. It almost smells potatoey, that letraset stuff. Don't know, can't explain that. It smells a little bit like mashed potato to me. You might think that that's weird, and you're possibly right. I'm just looking for us there. Just an extra pair of fingers, really. I'm going to put that on there, just hold it and let it glue. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so we've made a little journal card that can go inside that, inside the thing that we're making, the file folder, or not. So let me just clean off my, put the brush back in the water, otherwise that'll go horribly crusty. Move that out of the way, that out of the way, move that as well. Okay, give this a bit of a zhuzh. This piece of card here, by the way, it's just there to stop the glare. It's there to stop the glare. Stop saying that. I think you say that every video, Dave. So yeah, so there we go. Just clean my mat just because we want to move on. And what I don't want to do is put other stuff down and it all gets stuck to it and it all goes a bit there. So back to this. Okay, so oh no, actually, no, not back to this. Blimey, Dave, get your act together. I have found the most excellent product. Okay, now what do I want to use it on? Find something you want to use it on. So I'm going to use it on a piece of card first, so you can see it on a piece of card, and then we'll use it on something else. This also comes from Becca B's site. This is called Expanded. Now, I'd never seen this before. Apparently, it's for putting on fabric. Paint or spray. Oh, you can use it with Brusho as well. Okay, so it's really like great stuff. It's Expanded, and I'll show you how this works. Okay, and I love this. This basically is my new, it's my new delight to find new places to put it. So I'm going to have it kind of down here. I'm going to just randomly blob it on. And the reason why I'm going to do this, I'll show you what it looks like in a second. I'm going to randomly blob it on. Okay, doesn't matter how it looks. Okay, doesn't actually look very nice, to be fair. It looks it's a bit like off cream. It's kind of gone grey. So I'm just going to dab it a bit more, so that it just kind of takes away the brush marks, really. Okay, so really, I guess that should go into some water, but at the minute it's, oh no, there's some water there, it's fine. So, done that. Now what I'm going to do is you need to heat it. Now get that out of the way, because obviously if you're expanding something, you don't want the original sauce to expand as well. Get your heat gun hot. Remember, this gets hot. Don't dry your hair with it. And now I'm going to go over it, and hopefully you're going to be able to see what I can see. I'll move it so that you should be able to see. It gets hot, so it's not easy to hold. So hopefully you can see it now bubbling up. Now look at that. Now, okay, it doesn't look great. It looks great. It doesn't look anything really at the minute, but just you wait. Okay, so using a bit of crushed olive, I'm just going to go over this. Just a tiny bit on. And we're going to make it look mossy. So you don't want to go over the top, because you don't get moss like crushed olive colour. Equally, you don't get it in mowed lawn colour. But what you're trying to do is make that kind of undulation of moss. It's kind of not all the same colour. If you've ever looked at moss, it's not. It might look like it is. It also looks a little bit like, well, it looks quite a lot like mould. I like it. I think it's great. If you're trying to make that aged look of things, this is gonna blow your mind I love it. Well, I think when Becca sent it me, she wasn't quite sure whether I'd, going to do anything with it or what I was going to do with it. But the moment I got hold of it, I was thinking, okay, what am I going to do? I haven't really played with it, but today I was like, oh, this is fantastic. So I'm going to make it a bit darker, make it a lot more mossy looking. Well, kind of mouldy mossy. And it kind of almost freaks me out, but I love it in some ways. I just think it's amazing. Sorry, I'm getting a bit excited about it. I want to make it a bit darker. But expand it. I mean, like, wow. I mean, it says 3D texture for fabric. It's not getting anywhere near fabric. Sorry, it's mine. It's going on all these crafty journal-y things, and look how great that looks. So like you've got that kind of like, and it feels the way it feels. Sorry, it's not dry yet, so I've kind of just wiped it off. The way it feels is amazing. Now I haven't tried it with Brusho. I do have Brusho, and I'll have absolutely will have a play with it, but that is something I really like. Now I might just give it a bit of a dry off. Now, of course, when you're drying it, it will go a bit lighter. Anytime you use any kind of anytime you use any kind of the distress inks, they do go a bit lighter as you get them dry. But look how fab that looks now. Okay, so I've got excited. So okay, so we're gonna have this. Let's just have a look. So I think I might have some of this calculus. Now I did one in a lighter colour. So that was the first stamp, and this is the stamping off. Okay, so I think I'm going to put this on this card. So I don't even know how long we've been going for. How long have we been going for? Oh, 37 minutes. Oh, we're all right. Plenty of time. My friend Brian's here at the moment, and he's currently cooking dinner. So I can smell it cooking. It's amazing. We're having roast pork. So with all the trimmings, obviously, but it's kind of a bit driving me wild. So I'm going to have this over here, and I think I should have really put that on afterwards, but I was a bit too giddy. I was getting too excited. So I'm going to put that there, I think. So I need my trusty brush from my Mod Podge. I need my Mod Podge as well, which I've also thrown over here, and the lid's stuck down. Okay, and I'm just going to put some of this over here. Don't, like I say, don't over saturate, but you do need a decent amount on here, Dave. It's not free. I was saying today I don't feel very literate today, so apologies. Don't know what it'll look like over the top, so we'll give it a go. This is all about having a bit of fun together, isn't it? So pasting this over the top of here. I'm going to do that one. I think I was going to go back to doing the journal, but you know what? I'm having a bit too much fun at the minute, so I might put a bit of floral down this edge. The only thing I don't like about that is it's on a metallic background, and I don't think it blends in as well because of that. Oh, let's use some of this. Shall I use some of that, or I'll use some of that in a different video. No, not in a different video, on a different project. Or should we have Elsie? Should we have another one with Elsie on? Elsie? Should we have Elsie? We could have Elsie here, couldn't we? Oh, I don't know now. I'm torn. Well, she's torn because I'm tearing her. So, right, I'm having Elsie on here, but I think I'm going to put something in the background first. So rather than laying something over her, I'm going to lay her over something else if that makes any sense whatsoever, or I just sound like a blithering idiot. Who knows? I don't know. So, yeah, so I'm going to, I just want, sorry, I know I'm all off camera. I'm all off camera and everything. So, I've got this big pile of, I know, I need to sort my napkins out, but we've been having a bit of a play today. Brian, my friend's here, like I say, and we've been having a bit of a play, and they've all kind of gone a bit giddy. Might use that one, actually. Or I could use that. Right, okay, so I'm not going to be here all day if I just like sit there and look through them. I quite like that because it's nice and bright, but I actually think I might have that. Right, okay, I'm going for this. You guys are all going, no, the other one, get the other one. It's tough. I've got this one now. So, if you can split it without using the sellotape method, do so. And if you can't split it, use the sellotape method, which, to keep these now, you're going to be stamping on them. Okay, if you can't use the sellotape method, if you can't get them apart, use the sellotape method, which is, get some sellotape, stick it on a corner, and rip it off. And it kind of splits it. There we go. And it only takes that layer, which is great. There we go. It's got a slight faintness to it. I don't know whether that's too... No, it's too faint. A slight faintness to it. That's a word. Well, it's a term. It's a term in my head, anyway. Might not be in everybody else's world, but there you go. Just be careful when you're tearing any remaining bits off that you don't pull the whole napkin apart. Got the sellotape stuck to me all over the place now. Okay, so I am going to take a portion of this, might end there actually, and I'm just going to tear out a bit of an arc of this paper. Now this is on a blue background, so it's not going to blend in as well as the stuff on a white background, but it will be nice nevertheless. So get that out of the way. So what I think I'm going to have is something like that. Okay, so I'm just tearing off this. A lot of this is going to hang off the edge of the page and you probably won't see it anyway. So I'm just going to tear it, but to make a rough edge. Feathered edge always blends in much better. And if you don't use it because you tear it off, then it doesn't really matter as long as you've attempted it. Okay, so get rid of all those bits. So I'm going to have that there, and then I think I'm going to have Elsie over the top. Yep, I like that. Well, I like it conceptually. When it actually happens, I might not. But, you know, that's the risk we take in art, isn't it? So again, applying now, because this is a bit drier, I can be a bit more heavy-handed. But don't get too overzealous about it. Remember, it's paper, so it might absorb it more quickly than you are prepared for. I will say that about Mod Podgers. It's on paper, it sucks it in really quickly, and you kind of have to be on the ball. So there we go. Put that there. Like I say, some of this is going to get torn off, so not going to see it. Any loose bits, take them off. Careful when you're pinching, you're gonna otherwise you could rip the stuff underneath. So yes, it's been quite a week. I've had a long week at work, lots of contracts that I'm renewing and things, and meeting with salespeople, changing suppliers. I do a very long, arduous job that seems to never end, and it's that kind of thing. Because I work in the background and I deal with facilities and resource management, So I basically keep operations running and all of that. Some places call it operations, and we call it resource and facilities. The thing is, because it's going on in the background, nobody knows that you're doing it until it stops working. So if the IT suddenly drops out, that's when people say, "Oh no, what's going on, Dave?" But they never say, "Oh, thank you, Dave, for the IT working." So yeah, it's my job isn't seen until either it doesn't happen or it stops working. So it's been a busy week getting all change of suppliers over and all sorts of things. Lots of different contracts are changing, and it's not easy. I tell you now, it's not easy meeting potentially new contractors these days, because you don't actually get to meet them. You're kind of Zoom calling them or Teams meeting them. And the thing is, I'm not, I don't know. Perhaps I'm just being funny, but like some of the people come across as being very disingenuous. So, yeah. So like it's really hard, and like trying to make decisions that you've got to know that you're going to work with these people in the future, that you're going to get on with them, and like some of the people, they're just well, it's salespeople that kind of have that. They're known for being a bit slimy, aren't they? So, a bit slimy. So, look how fantastic that is. I'm sorry, perhaps I'm getting a bit excited about your own work, Dave. So I'm going to put her over the top of there, and I think when she blends in, she'll look a bit more part and parcel of the page. At the moment, she kind of stands out a bit. Now you're thinking, why did you just dry it off? I dried it off because I wanted to apply a liberal coat without ripping the stuff underneath. Because with a liberal coat, I can get her to blend in better. So I'm going to lay her down, and I usually work from the middle out. Unlike when you're cleaning a stain off your carpet, you should work from the outside in. You're working from the inside out. So any bits where it folds over, try and kind of catch them and just, there's a bit of cotton underneath her. Get rid of that. Those cotton threads are all over the place. And then brush her out. Any of the white bits of napkin, kind of try and go over those a bit more, because you'll get it to blend in much better that way. Don't over wet it. Okay, there you go, Elsie. Let's give that a try. Okay. So yes, and of course the lovely Worcester. He's lovely as always. He's coming up for that time when he's going to have a bath. That's the thing I hate about taking him out for a walk in the winter. Well, in the autumn when it's all like wet, and I mean the winters, you get rain, but we tend to get a lot more just dry, very cold days in the winter. In the autumn, we get very quite mild days, sometimes a bit crisp in the morning, but then like when it rains, I have to take him out and just wet dog all day. Like it's wet dog on me. I can smell wet dog on me even if I'm at work. He's all wet. His tummy gets really dirty. You could do with mud flaps, to be fair, to stop him getting like that splashback from his tummy, because I have to have a towel on standby to clean all the time, to clean him over all the time. And that towel gets dirty and the floor's dirty. It's just horrible. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't swap him for a unicorn. Well, I might swap him for a unicorn because they're probably worth a bit more. But I wouldn't change him, really. He's lovely. So there you go. So that's what we've made. So, I've got to say, for a winging it, that looks quite good. Love this expanded stuff. I love this expanded stuff. I'm a bit worried because I think I'm a bit concerned I might put it on everything. I did try it on a bit of fabric. There you go. And I mossed it up again. So that's it on fabric. It does dry with a bit of a texture, and you can feel it. It's got like a moleskin style texture feel to it, bit brushed cottony. But I mean, like, you know, the potential it holds is amazing. So I'm thinking as well, I was thinking, like, if I had like some of these are from when I buy little eyelets and they come in this. I was just thinking, this looks like a petri dish, so I could put some in there and then expand it and then have it as like a petri dish. And I've also got some of the you've seen me use them before, some of the like little round these things. I'll show you these little coin cases. I bet that would look great with some of that in. You know, you could have like a real, if you put some, maybe some Mod Podge in there, sorry, not Mod Podge, some glossy accents, or maybe some of this, and just let it dry clear, and then put a few dabs of that over the top and then expand it. Oh, my mind is like, oh, I could do this, I could do this. I might give that a go, actually, although nobody wants to sit and wait for glue to dry, because that's pretty much like waiting for paint to dry, isn't it? But, you know, I might give that might start that off. I don't want the crackle accents, I want this. So this is glossy accents. I'm just going to put a little bit of this in. Just thinking, should I colour it? But no, I'm just going to do it as clear. So this goes in, this looks milky when it goes in, when you use it, but it dries like crystal clear. So I'm just going to put some of that in. I'm going to give it a bit of a swish around. I don't want loads of it. I want to have that kind of essence of, like, you know, petri dish has a gel in the bottom. I might colour it in the next time I give it a go. Sorry if you can hear whistling in the background. It's Worcester is getting a bit excited. Uncle Brian's here, so Uncle Brian's currently keeping him occupied while I do this video. Normally he's sat around waiting for me to do something, entertain him. That's why he hasn't kind of come in to shop today. So I can hear him barking in the background now. And I can hear Uncle Brian saying, shh. So I'm going to leave that to dry now. So best way to leave that to dry, don't put the lid on it, just let it dry out like that. So you're going to form that kind of thing, and then I'm going to cover it with a little bit of that. Sorry, expand it. Where is it? I thought it had expanded and disappeared. I'm going to cover it with a little bit of that and then heat it up, and then oh, I'm so excited. Honestly, I can't tell you how excited I am. So thanks, Becca. That is like amazing. It blown my mind. So move that out of the way. Okay, right. Now I know I'm kind of like, must be near the, yeah, 53. So I'm very near the end of an hour. I'm not going to keep you for much longer than an hour, if at all an hour. Okay. All I want to do is kind of give you an essence of how I'm going to do this. So I'm going to use, guess what? I'm going to use Elsie again. There you go. That's that one that I'd set left to dry. So that's done. I'm using a bit of Elsie. The journal card paper on that one, I believe is K&Co that Becca had sent me. On this one, I do want to use, so I've got an Elsie ready here. See, she's featuring heavily today, isn't she? Might have a bit of fabric in the background. Don't mind a few wispy bits of thread hanging off, but I don't like it when it's completely thready. Get ready, Eddie Freddy. Eddie Freddy. Freddy Eddie. Where do I want that? Might have that down there. I want her over par avion. She looks like she's got curly hair then. Yeah, might have that there and there. Yeah. Well, you know, if you don't like it, it's tough. I need to stop saying that. Should I have her that in the background? Yeah, I might go for that in the background, you know. Right, I'm going to tear off the edges because you know what I'm like. You've got me now. You know who I am. If I stop tearing edges off, you'll be thinking, that's not Dave. That's not him. What's wrong with him? If, you know, it'll be a case of somebody's like pretending to be me. I don't know why they'd want to pretend to be me, to be fair. If they want to take the dog out, that's absolutely fine, especially on a wet day, as long as they towel dry when they bring them back. So it's funny. He kind of doesn't really like being towel dried, but he puts up with it. I think he puts up with it because he thinks I don't want that like hot air thing being blown at me. So he doesn't like. He hates being hair dried, and he absolutely hates the vacuum cleaner. So I have a Dyson, and he just does not like it. I don't know what it is about him. He's really scared of it. It's not like he barks at it or tries to attack it or anything. He's just really scared of it. He runs away from it. So bless him. He's been traumatized by vacuum cleaners in the past, clearly. I'm thinking I might want a bit of a bigger piece. I could have a bit of that underneath it, couldn't I, as well? Just for the texture side of things. No, I'm not going to use that. Okay, I might actually just use some... Oh, there you go. This stuff, by the way, in case you're wondering what this is, Dave gets like random things out of like random places. This is, you know those vertical blinds? It's just a replacement vertical blind that I have coffee dyed and left a bit of fluff on, actually. So I just coffee dyed it. In fact, actually, the way I did it is because I've got this Tide thing on. Is I put some coffee in a cup, like a small amount, and then just stood that in it, rolled up, and it sucked it all up. And I like the way that it's done it. You get this like Tide line on it. Yeah, I'm just gonna make it a bit more organic. I know I keep saying that organic thing. I'm really sorry. Sound like a hippie. There you go. Again, I might just try and tear that a bit better than I did last time. There you go. Perfect. Perfect. Might do that on the bottom edge as well. It's not as easy to rip a tiny bit off though. See? What did I say? Just like that. It's not easy. And then just tear some of the threads out of that. Okay, so got all the bits of goo all over the place. I'm going to glue that down, and then I'm going to glue this over the top. So Fabri-Tac obviously will work on fabric. Basically, its purpose in life. It better do anyway. I'm just going to glue it down like that. Just because it creates a bit of texture, I think. That's what I wanted from it. And again, gluing this bit down. Not worrying too much about how much undulation it has, because it adds a bit of that kind of texture. So put that on there. Oh, I can smell that pork roasting now. Let's try and put it at least up the right way, Dave. Nom, 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 nom. And I'm going to have it a little bit wrinkly, because we all get a bit wrinkly as we get older. Well, I'm speaking from my experience. I don't know about yours. I would not want to insinuate anything, but I'm definitely more wrinkly than I used to be. Oh, there you go. See, this is what happens when you get gluey fingers. It all goes a bit wrong. So I'm going to put that on there. So I'm going to Mod Podge it again, which I've put the thing over there and put the brush over, put the brush back in the water. So anyway, I haven't asked you guys, how are you? Or how are you? What have you been up to? Anything new, special, interesting? Oh, and I also want to say a massive thank you to, there's a few people that have said to me, Dave, I'd love to send you some happy mail. I honestly, I can't believe that people are even interested in watching my YouTube channel. So I am genuinely overwhelmed. I've packed up a little bit of happy mail for some other people. There's loads of people I'm due to be sending happy mail to, but at the moment I'm trying to just piece it all together first, and then I'll send it out to you as soon as I can afford it, really. So don't have a huge amount of money. Don't have any money really. But yeah, I will definitely be sending you some happy mail to those people that I've talked to, and I really appreciate anybody that wants to send me anything. Especially if it's like envelopes from other parts of the world that are more exciting than the British envelopes. So I'm easily pleased. It's not like I'm I'm dying for other things. And then I'm going to put her over the top of that. Like that. Yeah. So again, be careful. If it's already wet, be very careful, because you don't want to saturate it so much. I'm not worried about all these bits of cotton. These threads of cotton actually kind of add interest. In fact, I'm going to over egg the pudding, as they say. I'm going to put some extra bits in, because that will all add to it. So put those in. Kind of glue them down a bit if you can. Oh no, they just stick to your fingers. Don't even try. Run, save yourself. So pop that down there. Put Elsie down again, working from the middle, out. And if you're going to re-wet your brush, just be careful how much you put on it. Not wet it, I mean when you're dipping it in glue. Yeah. Do I want a bit of an essence of an essence of a little bit of flour, a little tiny bit of flour, maybe somewhere up here. Yeah, okay, I might have this. I'm going to tear it out. Might not use it, but yeah, I'll tear it out and see. At least, no harm, no foul. Yeah, go on then. Right, gently. You've got several layers here now, so just being gentle about this. Slightly cautious that we don't get it all in, make it all horribly gooey. You don't want to make paper mache, really, do you? So because I'm putting this on an edge, I'm working from the edge over and laying it through. And the reason why normally I work from the middle out is because you get less wrinkles in it that way. But you know, that looks all right. Didn't get too wrinkly anyway. This bit here just adds that bit of texture, bit of interest. Put the lid back on that, otherwise we could all be wearing that. Even you guys that are miles away, you could be wearing that. The potential of me and my spillages. Right, before you do that, Dave, because it's going to get wet, because I don't want to get everything underneath it wet, I'm going to put a bit of, what happens when you dry it, for some reason it pushes all the moisture through the paper. So I'm drying this out, and then once I've done this one, I'm going to leave it for today, because we've had a right play today. But I'm really fond of this texture, and I just think it adds that little bit of interest, you know. It's that essence of there's something there, but what is it? And that's all great for me. There you go. It's kind of going a bit wet on the back, so just let that dry. no, still quite wet. So you know, you play and do what you like. But I am telling you now, well, I'm never going to say somebody has to buy something. You know what I'm like. I'm a right frugal crafter. I like to find ways and means round things. And I am genuinely one of those people who says, don't spend money where you don't need to spend it. But if there's something you can't replicate, like that expanded stuff, spend your money on those things. You know, you don't need a crocodile. There's other ways to do things. You don't need, you know, fancy Tim Holt scissors. You know, as nice as they are. You don't need Fabri-Tac. You can just use, you know, normal PVA. All of these things can be supplemented. But if you are spending money on something, spend it on something. Spend that money wisely. Spend your crafty pound or crafty buck, depending on where you are, wisely, or it could be your crafty yen. Just make sure that you spend it in a way that means you're adding something to your life. If you don't notice any difference from it, then I think there's not much point spending it. So there we go. So that's that page. So we've done this one. So today we did this page, and we've got little fibres of thread underneath. Sorry, I can hear the dog in the background. We've got a bit of fabric on underneath. We've got a bit of that this stuff. What's it called? Vertical blind fabric. Okay, so we've got that in the background. Everything now is falling out because I've been messing. Okay, let's put some of those fabric bits back. Okay, we've got some napkin over the top. We've got Elsie, which she's kind of there, not there. There's the calculus stamp. These two lovely stamps. I think they were £8.95 from Becca B's store. I will link Becca B in the description as well. So we've got that. So that just looks, I think that looks really nice, and like we've got an essence of a flower there, and you know, it's kind of that milky wash to it. You can't see much of Elsie, but you know, I think it looks good. We've got a bit of a raw edge at the bottom, and then what else did we make? We made this little journal card that can go somewhere, I don't know, in there maybe, yeah, or wherever we choose to put it. Okay, so and then we've also got, sorry, I'll leave that open because we wanted to see that, didn't we? So we made that, and then we've also made this with that expanded foam on it. So this, like I say, it can be used on, I've never used it on, so it says iron on reverse for 130 degrees C, if to be washed. Do not stitch for 24 hours after curing. Shelf life is 6 months. Okay, so give this a go. You know, you might be a fabric crafter and think, oh, I want to have a go at that. I don't know what it turns out like when you iron it, but I guess somebody out there will let me know. So yeah, so we made this. We used the expanded foam on the corner of here, made it really mossy, and we made this. So I hope you've had fun with me for an extra hour of crafty goodness. You know, we've got to top up our crafty goodness. It's like our vitamins, isn't it? We need our craft fix. So thank you for being there. Thank you to everybody that subscribes. Thank you to everybody that interacts with me. You know, when you message me, I can't always reply straight away. I might be at work, but I do reply to everybody that leaves me a message. I genuinely am a bit overwhelmed that I've got, I think, 243 subscribers. I don't know where you all came from. I think you might have got lost and you kind of, you know, just came here by accident. But, you know, hopefully you've learnt something, or you've, you know, had a bit of a nice chat with me, or, you know, you just like listening to my dulcet tones. And I hope that in that previous video, if you're going along to that my previous video, I hope you enjoy making your sellotape now. Sorry, or your sticky tape, as it should be called, because sellotape is a brand name. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you use it once you've made it, and like everything you have will have a bit of sticky tape on it now. So my two favourites are the sticky tape and the gummed tape. So have a lovely week. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm going to leave you all now. I'm going to send you crafty love. I'm going to say again to you, spread the word of kindness, and spread craft as kindness as well. Look after yourselves. Don't just be kind to others, be kind to yourself. You need to be kind to you. I'm pointing at you there, you, yes. Don't worry about them, you I'm talking about. Yeah, you need to look after yourself, and you need to be kind to yourself, okay? And I am a big believer of that, and I know what it's like. And sometimes you lose the way and you find it hard to be kind to yourself, but when you can, be kind, and make sure you acknowledge that kindness. Be kind to others, and I'm going to leave you all with my usual. So, you know, I love you all without exception until you give me a reason not to. So I'm going to send you mwah, 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 3 crafty kisses. Big. Oh, I so need a hug. Big crafty hug. And I'm going to love you and leave you. You all have a nice day, evening, morning, afternoon, midnight, whenever it is. And I will see you very soon. Take care, folks. Be kind. Bye-bye. I'm going to sing as I find the off button. Bye, folks.